Hi there, Tape Reader Joe here. It's been a little while since I've had the opportunity to record a video, but I thought it was important to look at what happened on Friday. As you can see, I'm here looking at the higher time frame. I'm seeing price move up. I see the fair value gap there in the yellow. I'm thinking we've got a hit here. That's going to be my target for the day. So naturally, when I get dropped down into the 1 minute time frame, I am hoping, as I say to you, that we get a pullback and we reach that as the target place. Now, if any of you would have seen Jamie's or Rox's or even Zeus's videos over the weekend, yeah, we already know that I was wrong, but it's important for me to kind of go through this process. So when I drop down to the 1 minute chart as such and the 5 minute chart, I am looking at this to say, okay, this purple area, I am looking to see where the Asia low is. I'm thinking we're going to drop down lower to then manipulate lower to then go up higher towards our target. That was my rationale and my thinking at this point in time. I was very conscious that we may have stopped just short of 23,900 deliberately before obviously reaching that as the target for the end of the week before we drop. So as I say, I am looking at this as a potential area to as a buy as such. Now, as I'm working out my macro window, I've got much better at being patient and waiting to trade within my window of time. The macro being 9:45 to 10:15, and as explained by Jamie, if it manipulates, if you see the SMR before the macro, then expect the macro to distribute, or you get the SMR in the macro. So, but I'm being very good at actually just waiting now, which is much better than I used to be, and I'm waiting to get that for price to drop lower before it can go higher. Now, as you can see, looking at where I would like to enter. I've marked off the high from the AM session, but I'm still seeing that it's quite messy at the minute. So I'm not too sure what's going on. I see this retracement up into that consolidation area, up to the 23, towards the 23,800 level. I'll be honest with you, in my mind, I'm thinking I could sell this down to my area. As you can see, this would have been the optimum trade entry, but I'm not, because I was saying that I should be going long, and so I don't actually. I'm just trying, in my mind, all I'm thinking is be patient. It's messy. There's other key things I was looking at. Is this the immediate rebalance? Is this when price is going to start to spool in that macro? We've just retested again an inverted fair value gap, but I just, I wasn't looking at that. I was just really looking for the long, and this really wasn't clean enough for me. I didn't really know exactly what was going on. I was thinking I should have entered at the 23,800. Maybe it was just going to go straight up after getting some resistance from that high that was broken, I marked up. But actually, I'm waiting till 10 o'clock, and this is the thing. If you're unsure, just wait, and that's exactly what I did. Essentially, my waiting meant that I missed the actual trade, because part of me before would have just jumped in, but instead what I actually do is I analyze some more, I'm measuring the consolidation, doubling it and looking for where my SMR would be, and I'm thinking, yeah, it's going to happen in that area where I want to enter. So I'm thinking, well, I'm on the right tracks, and I am waiting to see if there is a juicy reversal market structure shift, but it is painfully slow this morning. I don't know, there was so much back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It took forever to drop to that price, and so it was a real test of patience for me. It was a test for me not to just, as I say, push the button, which I would do, and I was just waiting. Because of all of the back and forth, I didn't really see it as this was the distribution, but I wasn't seeing the SMR either. I was just kind of waiting to see what happens when we get to 10:15. That's where I was thinking we'd get that reversal at that 10:15 for us to move forward, as such. Now when we got to 10:50, nothing much happened. We're now actually in my point of interest where I want to enter, and I'm looking for that structure shift. I see this fair value gap. I'm thinking that could be the drop that I'm looking for. I see the Asia low is approaching. I've marked it up. I'm seeing this gap. I'm seeing that retracement. Is this the beginning of an SMR? And this is where I push that button. I didn't wait for the close above for it to drop below. I just jumped straight in without getting that confirmation of an SMR. And as you can see, I could have saw that coming. I had the Asia low kind of marked, and we've gone straight through it. How I didn't, I don't know what was going through my head or why I didn't do that, but obviously the realization is here that I've missed the trade. I should have sold 23,800 to 23,700. That would have been my 100 points done for the day. I could have closed the laptop and gone home, but I didn't, and this is where I then continued to watch what was going on. I was still looking for that potential for an SMR, and I'll be honest with you, at this point I've lost sight of the bigger picture, and I've not gone back to have a look to see exactly what was going on. I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, that's just one loss. It's got to turn around at some point. Let's just wait for the 10:45 macro and see if we get that SMR in the 10:45 macro. So I'm just kind of sitting through all of this time distortion, price distortion, whatever you want to call it. But it's not even that. Price is moving downwards. It hasn't reached its target, as we all know. It keeps on moving downwards in that fashion. So now we have reached a point looking like some support. I'm thinking there's another fair value gap. Is this the reversal now that I was looking for? I'm quick to say yes, and I put on a trade. But as you can see, I'm seeing a couple of moves up, and there's gaps I'm measuring. I'm adding another trade. I'm thinking that's an inverted fair value gap. I've got my stop loss on, and I'm trying to catch a falling knife, as they say, because as you can see, we go straight down. I hit a stop loss, and again I was totally wrong. So at last I finally look at the bigger picture and see that massive drop down, and so I know that I was wrong, but I'm also saying to myself, well, we have to return, we have to recover now. It's after 11 o'clock, it's in a new candle, looking for that SMR in that 11 o'clock wick, which I found, and this is where I start to obviously put on buys, because I'm thinking, okay, we're going to retrace now, and we're going to move up, not all the way up to the top, but at least we're going to retrace some way, and I start to yeah, what else could I say? Load up, you know, I guess to me it feels like, yeah, as I put it here, revenge trading. I'm over trading now. I've had my losses. I should have just called it quits. But I'm like, no, I want to get that money back. I need to recover something, some level of dignity that I know what I'm doing. And so I've placed all of those trades. I already know that we're heading towards lunch. Don't have high expectations over that lunch period, but I still put those trades on, realizing that, you know what, I'm going to have to sit through some back and forth price action, and you don't know what's going to happen after lunch. Is it going to take out the lunch high or the lunch low? Lunch could be ranging. It could be ranging in any one of those directions, which I'm not too sure about. But I do, at least my trade management is getting better, and I put in stop losses on, and adjusting them as price moves. And as you can see, I hit a stop loss there, which is fine. I think I, maybe got a couple of pence out of that, nothing to write home about. But again, I'm still looking for my entry, because I'm not giving up on this. I'm absolutely adamant. I want to get something out of it. You don't have that massive drop without having some level of retracement in my mind. So I am kind of putting it all in, and that's what I essentially end up doing. I've had a few trades on. I'm looking at the reaction to these fair value gaps. I'm looking at the price. It will soon be approaching 1 o'clock to see what's going to happen after lunch. And as you can see, I'm already looking at entering another trade, which I do, and enter a couple of trades. I'm looking to see where ES is going. No SMT detector for me at the minute, just really trying to train my eyes, but I need to be more vigilant and looking more closely at the kind of SMT that's taking place. But there is some SMT there at the top, which is a little bit cautious, because we could have another drop. I'm seeing equal high, session, there's some session SMT, but that doesn't hold true. Price is recovering, and I'm thinking this is good. At least I've kind of recovered something. Are we going to go all the way up to that purple box before the end of the day? Who knows? I see that rejection candle, and that's where I start to kind of get a little fearful. I adjust my stop loss, because I want to get something out of it. I don't want it to keep going down again. I'm placing my stop loss below the gap, and I'm hoping it can continue up at least for a little while longer. But it's already 3:15 in the afternoon, and unless there is some level of a power hour, where you get that major price move, that's what I'm hoping for, but hope doesn't really get you very far. So as you can see, I'm just kind of really managing what little I have left, and that's it. That's really all I can do after such an abysmal morning. But it's been important for me to actually go through this process and look at what's actually happened, because this is all part of the learning. I did this was on a live account too, and this is my first time trying to trade live for about maybe 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years, because the last time I lost a lot of money. I really didn't know what I'm doing, and I said I have to invest my time to learn this properly before I live trade, and I thought that maybe I was ready, but the psychology is still kicking me, because as much as today it doesn't feel like I knew what I was doing. or Friday it didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. I feel like I know how to trade, but my psychology is really killing me. But I feel like it's just, you're looking at all the right things, but I just haven't quite got them totally organised as yet. So that is it. Tell me your thoughts. How did I get on? How did you get on? Was there anybody else that was like me on Friday that was on the wrong side? It would be great to hear, to see how you're getting on, and we'll just keep moving forward. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, like, comment.